was trying to think. Men of War, Dolph Lundgren, another Dolph film. I was trying to think Van Damme.
I'd say Hard Target, but that's pretty known.
Yeah.
Pretty known.
Lionheart, I think, is a little underrated.
Double Impact.
I love that. The trailer says double the Van damage.
Big surprise. Huge surprise.
I haven't wear black underwear.
He's gotta do more of his TV show. His TV show is so good. So good. Man. He's gotta come back.
Or do Double Impact too.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris, Hellbound, I think is underrated. Missing in Action.
Lone Wolf McQuade.
Oh, definitely. I love that. Him and David Carradine.
Yeah.
Brandon Lee, Rapid Fire, I think is underrated. Showdown with Tokyo is definitely underrated.
Rapid Fire is so good too. Holy cow. Yeah.
Another Jeff Speakman film, he did Street Night and a film called, I forgot the name of it, Deadly Outbreak.
Okay.
Raingraff knows that one, but I was trying to think of some other ones, like I think The Punisher with Thomas Jane is underrated, along with The Punisher with Dolph.
Yeah, I love both of those. I love that. Oh my god. The short film too is amazing.
Sequels?
Blade 2 is kind of underrated.
Jaws 2?
Yeah.
Rainbow 3, I think is very underrated.
Very, very underrated. Very, wow. When you think of what went into that movie, of the time frame they had for that movie, them picking it up like 24 hours after firing the director and all that stuff. Wow. Can't believe it.
That's a film that I think deserves more. Like, I know that people say it's the worst, and I'm like, watch Packet 3. That's the one's worst.
I think with that film, it just came down to the time. Like, I think it just came down to when it was released. I think that's what put a stigma on it. Because really, I don't see any way how that can be a bad movie. And just the cinematography alone is beautiful. Like, so beautiful. You know, almost looks like a Sergio Leone Western.
Yeah, I love Rainbow 3.
Yeah.
I don't get the flag for it.
I think it's just because it came out at the end of the Cold War and all
it's like bad timing.
Yeah.
I understand. I think Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
It's underrated. So I mean, there's a lot. The list could go on and on. See, question number 7. Do you like 80s or 90s films more?
80s.
Yeah, I agree. 80s.
I'll let you take this one. I gotta go to the washroom. I'll be right back.
Oh, go ahead. I think the 80s to me is the golden era. 90s, there's a lot of great films. But the 80s, I mean, films like First Blood Part 2, Predator, The Running Man, Bloodsport, Above the Law, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future, just trying to think, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween 4, The Blob remake, The Thing remake, John Carpenter's The Thing, Big from Little China, Aliens, Rain Man. I could go on forever. I'm just kind of waiting for Matt to get back, but so many great films. Lock Up, Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2. Just Over the Top. Just a lot of great movies. 90s it was a great era, great time, but '80s is definitely better. I mean, to me, it was a better era. I don't think you can get any better than the '80s. And yeah, I listed off a bunch of movies from the '80s.
Sweet.
And how that, to me, that was my favorite.
Yeah, the '80s are, wow. The '80s are so fucking underestimated. Like, man, I find it like a lot of critics today and people really don't give the '80s their due.
Exactly, they'd rather have the '80s. Because I seem to notice lately, especially with the remakes and shit, that the '80s has become their punching bag.
Yeah, and without the '80s, we would not have nothing the way we do today. So.
Exactly. So, I mean, that was a great time.
Yeah.
Question number 8. Do you like action or horror more?
Action, I would say. Yeah. I think when I was younger, there was a fine line to be drawn there. Like the first time I saw First Blood, I was terrified of that movie. The first time I saw RoboCop, I was terrified of the Ed 209. Or like even little things like we talked before about like Never Ending Story. I was terrified of that. So I find like we don't have that same the same thrill to our action like we used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say I like action more. I love horror, but if I had to really pick action, because Stallone, Arnold, Chuck, Van Damme, Seagal.
Yeah.
So I would say that. Question number 9. Do you think that 2016 is a horrible year for deaths? I.e. David Bowie, Prince,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just sad because it's only May and we've lost so many icons so far this year. It's almost like it's just as bad as 2014.
Yeah.
In 2014, we lost Robin Williams. We lost so many great stars. Edward Herrmann, great actor. We lost him in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I mean, David Bowie, Prince, China, Doris Roberts. Am I forgetting someone?
Oh, there was a lot this year.
Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
So
I wanted to say the guy from Phantasm, but I think that was last year, right?
Angus Scrimm?
Yeah.
I think it was this year.
Was this year?
I think so. Or if he passed away last year, I think it may have been late last year, but I'm starting to think it was this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I know last year I think we lost Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 2016 is just not looking good. We're losing people left and right. Question number 10. What movies do you like from directors you don't like?
The Crow, Masters of the Universe. That was what? Albert Pien, right?
Yeah.
I only saw half of Gods of Egypt, so.
I hate Zack Snyder, but I like watching him.
Yeah, perfect example right there.
That's a good movie.
That's a great movie.
And Albert Pien, I know you mentioned him. I know he directed Cyborg. I like that.
Yeah, I like Cyborg. I love Cyborg. Cyborg and Hard Target are like my go-to Van Damme movies. I
think he also directed a film called Doll Man.
Okay.
Albert Pien, but I've heard about it. directors I don't like. I hate Michael Bay, but I love The Rock.
Mm-hmm. That's a great movie too, The Rock.
That's a great action flick.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you have any directors in mind?
Let's see. Well, I hate I like that the first Jeepers Creepers movie, but I hate when I found out everything behind that. I fucking hate.
Oh, Victor Salva.
Yeah.
That's a great example of a guy that doesn't belong in the streets.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I don't know why they would let him get away with that. I don't know why he's still working.
But go ahead and get your rage off. What are your feelings about Victor Salva?
We should send that fucking Punisher after him is what we should.
Put him in the Punisher series and just be killed off.
Yeah.
Like a brutal death.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all the questions from the Cartoon Man 13. Thank you.
Thank you, Cartoon Man.
And our next set of questions is from John McClane. John McClane sent us questions.
All right.
Come out to the coast.
How can the same thing happen to the same guy twice?
Yeah. So John McClane sent us questions. Awesome. Hope John McClane, if you're listening, I hope that Die Hard 6 is not the prequel.
Mm-hmm. Mickey O'Brien down here. You see a fat jolly man come through here?
How's Sergeant Powell doing?
Yeah.
We're just messing around. But he's got three questions. Question number 1: would you rather watch Batman vs Superman or Yu-Gi-Oh the movie?
Yu-Gi-Oh, and I don't know anything about it.
I don't either, but I would go with that.
Yeah.
I would rather watch that.
It might give me something, Yu-Gi-Oh might intrigue me.
I have to think there's more going on in that movie than Dawn of Justice.
Yeah.
Question number 2: who's your favorite Marvel and DC villain, particularly in the comics?
DC, Doomsday, for sure. For sure. Marvel, let's see. I want to say Frost, but I don't think he was in the comics, right? Damn. See, I don't know a lot of the Marvel things, so. I don't know. I'll say, Grace Randolph. Because she's a Marvel, right?
She's a new Marvel villain.
Yeah.
Just not the comics, right?
Yeah, she. I heard she was a writer recently. Something about she was a writer for Marvel. I don't know.
Marvel. There's so many villains.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like Venom or.
Yeah, yeah, definitely Carnage or.
Like any Spider-Man villain, like Green Goblin or.
Rhino. Yeah, Electro, like the old Electro.
Yeah, those are some of my favorites because I remember them from the cartoon. But I know this guy asked about the comics. I'm trying to think like Marvel heroes and their villains. You got like Kingpin.
Yeah. Kingpin's great. He's like on that whole level of crossover villains and